Hi everyone. The Inquiry Project. Actually, this has been a very effective process for recording and reflecting on some of the new strategies I've been implementing in my AP classes. I was really inspired by the work we did together last summer, which was undeniably exhausting, but also incredibly valuable. I wanted to bring some of that value into my classroom. So the big takeaway for me came as the result of being pushed out of my writing isolation. I experienced all of the feelings my students are reporting about self consciousness, insecurity, and uncomfortability, but I've also experienced a transformation that has empowered me with a new awareness of who I am as a writer and an appreciation for audience and its impact on my writing choices. By working in a community where sharing is the norm and the guiding belief is that we are all writers, I've been empowered by your active presence in my writing life and bonded to you in trust and devotion. It's true. So, what we did moving my students into writing groups was jarring for them. They were resistant to sharing their writing with peers, so, as gently and as patiently as I could manage, we began. The literacy autobiography is a personal reflection piece that asks students to explore three of their formative writing experiences. It's the first major piece of writing we do in the school year. We did 2 rounds of feedback in our writing groups. The first session, students were asked only to point to something praiseworthy, compliments only. The second round was preceded by instruction about feedback protocols, establishing the writer as guide, and I offered some models of what feedback might look like. In a discussion format, students met, gave feedback to their partners, directed by the writer. Once they'd completed the activity, students wrote a reflection in the four-square model Tom shared with us, and the journey began. Next, students were polishing 2 of their writing into the date journal entries for publication. They met in writing groups using the same protocols as we did for session 2 of the literacy autobiography. Then they participated in a modified museum activity similar to the one we did during the Summer Institute. They brought 2 revised pieces, wrote author's notes for each piece, and moved from station to station, leaving feedback as they went. Following this activity, students were asked to reflect in writing on the process itself, their feelings about the process, and the value this process did or did not have. So, what I've learned. First, asking students to reflect on the work they're doing is a powerful teaching tool and one that I have not used up until this point in my teaching practice. Acknowledging that student reflections are written with the teacher in mind, it provides a more authentic conduit for having conversations with students than other writing assignments do. Much of what I've learned has come from student reflections. My students have taught me that words are important. Constructive criticism, for example, when used to describe feedback, means criticize. Don't use it. Feedback now is ask a question, offer an alternative, or make a suggestion. I'm looking at what's called micro editing in the Parlor, taking a sentence, asking students to compose alternatives as part of the scaffolding I'm still developing. In the reflections, some asked for more meaningful feedback. This is a real indication that they're ready to engage more fully in the process. Made me very happy. Students need more scaffolding in how to respond to peers' writing in a kind but meaningful way. Meaningful in the sense that the feedback should be useful to the writer. Similarly, students need more scaffolding in how to set parameters for the feedback they ask of their peers. I think the writer might also pose a question for their readers to answer. That should be added to our list of possible strategies. Those students pushed back on all these activities. They've engaged with increasing willingness, and now there's even some enthusiasm. In some of the reflections, students said that they wished there was enough time to read all the pieces their classmates had written. And when we read aloud the polished pieces, students said it was fun and hoped we'd do this again. I've learned that with some consistent practice, there's transforming power in writing together. In an ideal world, I would share this work with my colleagues in the high school English department. We have a lot of talented teachers there, but this is not the kind of work we do together. We're right now in our district moving from the data team model to the PLC, Professional Learning Community model of grade level department meetings. But this is not the sort of focus we use in our meetings, unfortunately. We're focused on what we teach, not how we teach, and do we need to change the final. I think working in a department where the focus is on student work and on teaching, the whole school would change. I really believe that. I think it would help make us more responsive to our students. I think it would increase student learning, and I think teachers would be more satisfied and happy with their jobs. I look at the work that I've been doing with my students as a gift from the Hudson Valley Writing Project. My advanced students have not had any experience sharing their writing aloud, thinking of themselves as writing beyond the teacher as audience. And that's a gift already given to these very talented and beautiful young people. I hope you all have a terrific winter break, and I'll see you soon. Thanks.